Morning, John.
Good morning.
Part 6 of our Woodhead story. We've waited till the summer to pick this up. And we're at Woodhead, which is where we're starting today. In fact, no, we're not. We're starting from Dunford Bridge. We're at the completely wrong end of the tunnel.
We are, yes.
Right, okay.
We better reverse up.
Right, okay.
Get back.
Right, we'll see you at Dunford Bridge. So this is a familiar spot. This is the east end of the Woodhead Tunnels. Do you know it was November we were last here, John?
November, wow.
November. Where's this year gone? The irony of us being here today, we parked doing this series, we parked doing the rest of it until summer. And here we are sheltering under an old railway bridge.
12 degrees, and 3 days ago it was 26 degrees.
Yeah, it is the end. What day is it today? 29th of June?
Yeah.
So we should be. John's got an hat on. He's got an hat on.
I've got 4 layers in the bag.
We've got coats on. It's only just started raining. I don't think it's going to rain all day. It's been a heat wave all week. And the day we come and do this, it's just typical, isn't it? But never mind, we crack on. So today's plan, we've got the tunnels, we've got the 3 tunnels. We're not gonna be walking through the tunnels. That's not an option.
No way.
But we're gonna walk over the top, and we're gonna see what we can find of the old shafts, the ventilators.
Ventilators, a few other things to find.
Observatories, well, whatever. You'll see what we get, and we're gonna finish up at the west end of the Woodhead Tunnel. Before we crack on, I just wanted to show you this photo I found in my dad's old collection, dated 1989, and a very sorry looking Dunford Bridge station site at the east end of the tunnel. We'll talk more about the construction and the history of the tunnels as we make our way west. During construction of the 1950s tunnel, we can see the row of workers' huts at Dunford Bridge here.
There is not going to be a sandwich shop or a butty or even a pub over on this route, I'm afraid, but there might be an ice cream van, maybe, but not this weather, I don't think. Maybe like a mirage, maybe we'll imagine to see one.
So is this a shaft from...
I think this is the first shaft.
So I'll just show you where we are. You can see the reservoir, just over there, you can see the top of the dam. Dunford Bridge is just behind those trees there, so we've climbed up quite high, and this is the site of the first, I think it's the first shaft.
We think it's the first shaft. Without the maps available to us, it's a bit hard to confirm it 100%.
But this isn't anything to do with the shaft, it's just covering a hole in the ground, isn't it? Yeah. Not even the brickwork, but it is the location. Is this the shaft that there's the photos lying around with the train on the side?
The mural of the Class 76. I'm tempted not to say it on camera that it definitely is, because there's a risk I might be wrong, but I think it is. I think it is. We'll check later.
All we do know is that shaft with that mural on the side doesn't exist anymore. So, which is a shame. It's a massive shame. Why did they knock that down, I wonder? Because there are photos not that long ago of people posting on Flickr and such. So it can't have been knocked down that long ago.
Well, I think in the late 2000s they effectively decided to condemn the original 2 tunnels, and I guess perhaps as a series of work to like seal them off and just get rid of them completely.
That's a good point. Yeah, when they took the cables out. Yeah,
because they moved the cables over.
So this video is a little bit different. We're not following the course of a disused railway as such. It's more like a moorland walk, isn't it? But a walk through nice scenery, all the same. We've just been saying when we've been walking up the path from here, the chances of finding a sarnie shop
slim to non-existent.
Yeah.
And there's no pub either.
It's a shame, massive shame. So this isn't a trig point, is it?
No, we think it's a navigation aid for the construction of the tunnel.
Yeah. Is it surveying or something like that?
But if you compare it to your average trig point, it's in really, really poor condition. So a few sheep have been rubbing themselves up against it, right?
Yeah. Mechanism on the top there, isn't there?
There's a mechanism on the top.
Very. Sorry, I mean to damage it. But just trying to illustrate that is a moving part there. So it's only 3 miles long this tunnel, isn't it? Or just over 3 miles long.
3 miles and 43 yards.
We don't want to be getting any further away from Dunford Bridge looking that way. So we're, yeah, according to our location, we're right on top of the 2 old tunnels here. Is this remains of a shaft?
We think so. I think so. I'm going to put that out there that it is.
We've just been having this discussion, so literature online would suggest that there were 5 shafts for the building of the original tunnel. But you think it's 6, John, don't you?
Well, what's definitely in no doubt is there's a further shaft built when the 3rd tunnel was built, so that's 6 in total.
Yeah.
But whether there was a 7th one, so therefore there were 6 when the original tunnels were built, is up for debate because a map, I think it's the...
Contradictory, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a contradictory map. I think it's 1945 map may show that there's 6 on the original line.
Oh.
But whether that's actually true, maybe it's just an error in the map.
All we do know is that we've not seen any yet.
Yeah, we've seen piles of rubble and modern structures, or more modern structures.
I mean, it's different.
It's a round kind of shape.
Artifacts scattered around everywhere, and yeah, you don't know what is. You don't know what's linked, do you, or relevant when you see. I mean, there's a little quarry or something there. I suppose pure speculation, using the imagination. But when they were obviously they lived in shanty towns. Could they be on the top of the moors, like when they're building these shafts, and when they're building out from the shafts and the tunnel? Were there little settlements up here as well? There probably were. This has definitely been a building of some description up here, John, isn't it?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Haven't seen any evidence of any doors or anything, no. Definite foundations of things, though, yeah.
It's whatever. It's long since been abandoned there.
It is another one of those navigation points. Don't know what the official term for these is. I'm sorry. I'm seeing them referred to incorrectly as trig points, which I suppose they are, in a way. Because that's what a trig point is, isn't it? But
purpose is the same, isn't
for
it?
navigation purposes. But these are a different shape.
Slightly
for the
better.
railway.
Slightly better condition, this one, isn't it?
Yeah. Which is ironic to say it's
yeah,
a
it's
bit
so
higher up.
bleak up here. This is the peak, isn't it? Right, milestone. I can get my glasses on. That's good.
Onwards, we trudge. This rain just keeps coming and going. It's not rain, it's more like drizzle. It's very frustrating because I keep getting the drone now when it keeps stopping. Like, and we got a little window of 5 minutes to get
Yeah,
up.
we had a window in it.
And just as we're just ready to take off, it just starts up again. Look at this that we're just walking past. So what did you say it is again, John?
We think it's an explosives store for when the 3rd tunnel was created.
So in the
1950s. Yeah. Yes, that's right. Early 1950s, wasn't it?
Really much to see inside, isn't it?
It's not much.
It's got a smell, hasn't it?
It's got a smell. I'm not trusting this roof. It looks like it's got a bow on it.
The smell. What's the smell?
Sheep poo.
No, there's a.
It's a bit of a tang to it. Oh yeah, there's ventilation bricks outside. Obviously, it looks like they might have had an iron or steel door on it. Actually,
it is.
It's thick.
Yeah, it's thick walls.
It's really thick walls. Relatively modern red brick. Oh,
Door here.
oh, door to nowhere.
Different room.
Oh.
There's a hole in the wall there into another room.
A different chamber that we haven't seen. How weird. Look, 3 big locks as well. It's like, definitely want to keep people out.
Can you see it through there? There's another wall about 2 foot the other side of that hole.
There's light coming into it. I suppose it's probably from here.
It might be from the roof, but there's no door on the side. There's that. Yeah, that's crazy. There's a room in between the 2 rooms that's not accessible. Concrete base or something here. John's having a wrestling match with him now. So it's marked as a tip, John?
It's marked as a tip.
So obviously they used the shafts as construction shafts, didn't they? When they're building it, they'd go down and build.
Yeah, and then they'd
out.
presumably take stuff out.
That they're excavating from there has to go
somewhere. Yeah.
The area that we were just walking on is this plateau that we can see from the drone. There's the brick storeroom top left, and the concrete pad is directly below it. We did have another shaft here for the old tunnels, as well as the location of the only shaft for the 3rd tunnel as seen on this map. I still think that concrete that we just saw, which can be seen here, is part of one of those shafts. But isn't this old footage incredible from a 1951 British transport film showing the work for the construction of the 3rd tunnel on that same plateau of land that we've just been stood? Incredible captures of the working conditions and practices too. Flat caps instead of hard hats, and I'm sure someone with a high vis would be having kittens right now. Watch your head, mate. That's it. This is the Woodhead Pass. It's a very busy road. We're going to try and get across this. It obviously shares its name with the tunnel. This shaft has been torturing us for. We was over there. We could see this. In fact, I could see that brick building we was looking around not too long ago. We was on about not even 3 miles at that point.
Yeah, about an hour ago.
We're now 5 miles in. We've had a bit of a detour to get to it.
That's a understatement. It's like a U-shaped kind of like.
We talked about doing this, and we'll just follow the course of the railway tunnel. It's not like that at all. We've had to really.
Yeah, no, that wike has killed us really.
We're on to 5 miles, and we're only about 200 yards on from where we were
an hour ago.
3 miles ago, or whatever. And we've been down dale, up dale. We've had such a slog. If anyone's come up here, they'll know what I'm talking about. We've come down from the road, come up from the road down there because we just couldn't find a way across here. Maybe he is, I'm not sure, but anyway, we're here. So this is this, am I right in thinking this is the only remaining shaft?
It's the only remaining shaft, and I think it is used for the new tunnel, or newer tunnel.
So is it a new tunnel, this?
I think so.
It's a good assumption. We're being eaten by midges here, aren't we? It's suddenly deteriorated on it. I mean, it's a nice structure, isn't it? Nice shaft.
It's in good nick. Put the thrown rocks on the top, because there's obviously like a sort of grating on the top. But...
yeah, I did see that there were lots of stones on top. Look at all this. I'll show you. I'll get the drone up because it has stopped raining now. I think you can see where they've excavated the stone from the tunnel, and you can see it all. I'm assuming it's listed as a tip on the maps. I'm assuming it's just a spoil tip from what's been dug out of the tunnel. And we were just over there. We was on the footage you saw when I said there's a concrete base here. It's like a plateau's been built up over there. We're wondering if there's something over there that was a shanty town.
I thought when we were standing on the edge of that, it looked man-made, that plateau, and you don't tend to see that kind of really
normally flat.
Yeah.
And then a sudden drop that we couldn't get off the side. There's another one of those navigation posts there. Look. Not going to go over to that one. We've seen a few. You've seen a few now. So we're even behind that turret. How many more shafts do we think we've got?
There's 2 further shafts. Whether we'll get to actually get near both of them, I'm not sure. But the far western one is the one that used to be the observation tower as well.
I was just going to say that on the maps, a lot of them, obviously they use them in the construction of the tunnel. I don't know if that's the case for all of them, but they're listed as ventilators on the old maps, aren't they? But as you start getting over to the west, we see the label as well, observatory. And there's that photograph taken down at the bottom. I think it's on the Pennines history website. I'll put the link on the screen. And you can see the railway going into the tunnel from Woodhead Station. You can see the observation tower on top of the hill. So I think that was all to do with the building, wasn't it? Where he was lining up the shafts. And I'm sure I read somewhere when they'd finished the tolerance, it was only 3 inches.
Is that right? 3 inches?
3 inches.
Wow.
We passed these when we were walking up this hill, these mounds. It just looks like stuff's been dug out and piled up. Now, there is a quarry on the maps, but I think there is another shaft. You can see the same scars on the landscape where they've been just throwing the spoil down the sides of the hill. You'll see what I mean, just the same as up that existing shaft we've just seen.
So where is the shaft remains? It's over the top of there.
Looking a bit windswept on top of this hill. Just some facts, keeping these in my pocket. As we'll see when we'll get down, and we'll tell you a little bit more about the 3 tunnels in a bit more detail. Obviously, Tunnel 1 came quite a bit before Tunnel 2, and we've touched on it when we've done the rest of the line up to here, just about the cost of life back then isn't what it was now. Big numbers in terms of the amount of people killed, and you don't have to look far online for tales of horrific working practices and just no consideration or care for the employees. Tunnel 1, 30 people were killed in the construction of just that first tunnel alone, and hundreds more were injured or maimed. And I think you've just not got to forget those kind of things, those sacrifices that those people made. I mean, you imagine going to work now. Can you imagine going to work?
Yeah.
And probably knowing that there is a good chance that you might not.
Yeah, and also that being acceptable. Yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah, it's like a managed risk.
Yeah, it was like, yeah. I think there was some intervention at some point where somebody intervened to improve the conditions for the workers on this. But I think even in the 50s, when they built the 3rd tunnel, there was 6 deaths, I think.
That's the right, yeah. And that's modern times.
Yeah, what's that, like 70 or 80 years ago?
Yeah. I mean, the anguish for the families, and even the people who were seriously injured. But can you imagine as well that the impact on people who had to witness that while they were working, or people who inadvertently may have caused it through poor working practices? It's not just the lives lost in terms of death. It's it's probably the impact as well of working in those conditions. And we are dropping down. Now we can see in the distance there reservoir. What's that reservoir called, John? I can't remember. It's the Longdendale Trail Valley, isn't it?
Is it?
The railway line's skirting along the left-hand side of the reservoirs down there, but that's for a future video.
So we're literally now just about standing on the course of the newer tunnel, the 3rd tunnel, and we're about to head down and hopefully find the last air shaft.
Right.
I think it still could be several hundred feet beneath us.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're still really high up, aren't we? You can see. I mean, the pylons are a really, really good guide here, aren't they? Because the tunnels.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's where it comes out.
They're now been carried through the 3rd tunnel, so we've still got quite a drop yet to make, and we've got one more shaft to see, John, or not to see, as the case would be, and that'd be somewhere we'd be looking over where that would be roughly roundabout now, wouldn't we?
It's,
From
yeah, I would say we're about halfway down towards it from where we just stopped up there.
but yeah, there's the remaining air shaft.
There's no doubt that that's it, in my mind. It's probably the most obvious one to date.
Is that where the shaft was actually originally, though?
Well, good question. On the 1892 map, it says observatory brackets air shaft.
Observatory, yeah. That's a nice view down there, isn't it? The road.
Hey, good view of that.
The railway station is right underneath here. This little area you can see just down there, the other side of the road, was that houses? It was a row of houses just sat there. I mean, there's not much left of the community of Woodhead these days, is there? It's not a very, and it's so remote. I would so like to have had the opportunity to make that journey through over this line and enter Woodhead through the tunnel. We've done it the hard way, probably not the most direct way. We do things differently, but it's not a bad approach to Woodhead, is it? Coming down here. Sorry, I've just been saying it was houses. It wasn't houses at all. It was a pub. It's listed on the maps here as the Crown Inn. Look at the maps. It does look like a little bit more to it. There's a village. Did old Woodhead. Let's have a look over the side here. Wow. So that's the end of our journey today, and here we are. Those three beauties. Obviously there we've got the two older tunnels on the left hand side and the new larger tunnel on the right hand side there. So let's tell you a little bit about these tunnels, shall we? I'm going to have to read this as we go. So Woodhead Tunnel 1. Now it's called, they refer to it as a south tunnel. Does that mean that's the middle tunnel then that came first?
Oh, right.
This is what I wasn't sure. One of those, you can see the earliest of the older tunnels. Work started in 1838. It was completed in 1845. 5 vertical shafts sunk for building work, of which you know, because we've walked over the top already, haven't we? How much do you think that tunnel cost when it was built at the time, John?
£20,000.
£200,000.
Whoa! Wow.
Which I've got a figure here. That's roughly £25 million.
Wow.
In today's money. And I think I mentioned it already when we were out. 157 tons of gunpowder on that first tunnel alone. And you think that the gunpowder house was
It's like a cave, almost like store. We think it's just up there where that rock is, and there's an arch, but it's obviously very overgrown.
That's a shame.
Other videos are available that show it.
Okay. And we mentioned when we were walking over the hill, 30 people were killed when building that. And it wasn't, sorry to be morbid, but it wasn't just the working, John, that killed the workers. It was also the living conditions.
Yeah, of course.
Wasn't it? The cholera outbreaks.
Yeah.
Where is it here? What's the number here? Oh, I've not written the number down, I'm sorry. I'll put it on the screen.
30, you said, 30.
30 killed in a cholera outbreak. Right, okay. We're not laughing at death or anything like that. I'm laughing at my inability to research these things and then not bring the information. But it wasn't just the building where it suffered, because these tunnels, as a steam train driver, were notoriously
horrible.
bad to work in. There is a gradient going eastbound, and they earned the nickname as hellholes. 1 in 20 was the gradient west to east. So that's quite hard work for a steam locomotive, isn't it? So obviously that's the two smaller tunnels that you can see there. Very, very ornate, but they've no longer got the ornamental tops on, unfortunately. But the bigger tunnel on the right hand side there, Woodhead Tunnel number 3, and that's the one that's carrying the electricity these days. And that one opened in 1853. We started filming this series in appalling conditions last year, didn't we? And this is, I suppose this is the it's not the end, but it's
getting close, isn't it? Penultimate.
Yeah.
Penultimate day out.
This is the iconic, I suppose, location for this series, isn't it?
The hellholes.
So it was one of these. Was it one or both that carried the electric cables onto?
I think it was one.
Just one of them.
Yeah, just one, and they swapped it over to the third tunnel, which is so much bigger. The bore. I mean, these are really small bores, aren't they?
Was it just purely financial that they just built one to start with, or did they just not foresee?
Well, I suspect it was they had to like get investment, so it's like you needed to build the one, get it going, get some revenue in, and then it was about 7 or 8 years between them. Well, not a long time.
Yeah, I can't remember if I told you the dates of Woodhead 2. So this one, obviously Woodhead 1, that finished in 1845. 1847, they started building, pointing at that one like it's number 2.
We don't actually know.
Someone's going to be shouting at the screen here. But yeah, the second Woodhead Tunnel, Woodhead 2, second of the old tunnels, that started in 1847. And that was completed in 1852/1853. So it was 100 years before the Beast came at the end, because obviously they needed the bigger tunnel, like at Thurgoland. You know, they had to build a new tunnel for as the electrification arrived.
Yeah, that one has, but the others haven't.
John's just been asking if it's got a date stone on. BR, British Rail, 1954. Doesn't it look huge?
It's massive.
We couldn't get this close up to it at Dunford Bridge, obviously, but
it's monumentally large.
Such an imposing structure, isn't it, that? The electricity cables are now in tunnel number 3, so that's carrying your cross Pennine electricity.
All your power needs.
Distribution through there, and like we saw when we were on the way down here, you can see the pylon. That must be where the wires come out. I mean, that is reading. There's a lot of objections to them doing that, because that's pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't know how easy it is to remove those cables, but when you read about the industrial setup of those cables, what they're buried in, and they're insulated.
Yeah, it's massive investment.
Doesn't sound like they're going to be running trains through there anymore. People do talk about reopening the Woodhead line, and you know what a criminality that it ended up shutting in the first place. But I'm pessimistic, and I'll say I don't think we'll ever see trains on this railway line certainly not in my lifetime. But that'll do. That's it from Woodhead. Have you enjoyed that walk today, John?
Oh, I certainly have.
Should we get a final read on the mileage?
7.5 miles.
7.5 miles. How long did you say that tunnel was?
3 miles.
Over 3 miles.
And 43 yards.
What have we been doing for the rest of the
I know. Going in a big circle, I think.
It's exercise, isn't it?
Yeah,
right.
We enjoyed it.
So we'll see you on the next video, which is going to be a look around this little remains at a little station. Cheers for joining us on that longer than anticipated walk. And we'll see you on the next one.
See you later.